Stella asked, do you have to live in the home where you're starting up your preschool? No, you sure don't. But when I was starting, of course, that was the easiest way to do it, right? I already lived in the home. I could actually use part of my home as a tax write-off for utilities and for the mortgage interest and a whole other bunch of things. And so it was just a natural fit. Like, I already live here, I already spend the majority of my day here, so why not do my preschool in my home? And of course, home preschools are literally all the rage right now. Back 11 years ago when I was doing it, home preschools were actually like kind of unheard of. But now that I've brought this to the forefront of the world, there's a lot of people doing home preschool, so it's definitely become more of a common thing where women are just like, of course I would like a home preschool because it's the perfect transition from a home to a school, right? You go from a home environment into a home preschool and finally into school, which is kindergarten, right? So it's a great, loving, warm environment. And I know a lot of people want to start out in their home, and that's awesome. You totally can, you just need that kitchen and living room. Remember we talked about that in a different video. But what if for some reason your home doesn't work out, the one that you actually live in? Like we talked in a different video, what if you have 2 guard dogs, right? How in the world can you do a preschool in some other place? Well, you could do it in a church or a different building, but what if you want to do it in a different home that you don't live in? And that's, I think, where this question is coming from. Well, a couple different ways that you could do it. One of them is from my friend Shemana. She actually had a home daycare that she had started, but it was not her home. She actually just rented a home property. She had to drive about 45 minutes away, go to do daycare there all day long, and then come back to her own home, which was really weird. Of course, she was super worn out, and she completely changed that concept of doing daycare, and she changed it into only preschool at that point. Hey, quick question. Does the word daycare literally feel like fingernails on a chalkboard? Oh, chills. I hate that word daycare. So if the idea of staying home with other people's kids, watching them for 12 hours every single day feels more like a prison sentence than an actually rewarding career, listen up, because I've created a free guidebook called The 7 Secrets to Starting a Preschool. It's going to help you whether you're doing an online or a local preschool. I want to get it in your hands. Simply go to preschoolsecrets.com or click the link in the description. We'll get it right to you. Okay, go get it right now. Don't forget, it's free. So that's one option you can do, is you can actually rent another home that you don't live in, or you can actually rent or buy a home that is in a commercial area. So you're like, wait, home, commercial, those two don't go together, Joy. So they kind of do. If you think about zoning, and I know it's a big word, what is zoning? Zoning is just basically that thing that, like, when you go down to the city, they give you rules about, yes, you can have a business in that place, or no, you can't have a business, but you can have a house there, right? Like, there's a certain property of land, and they tell you what you could put on that land. Well, a lot of times when areas are being built up, like different cities, usually the inner area of the city, like the main street, right, that's their business area. But because it's a small city, then everything else starts building around homes right outside of Main Street. Do you see where I'm going here? So close to Main Street all of a sudden becomes all these homes because it's still a small town. But as the town grows, then what happens is that Main Street starts spreading, and this little pocket becomes a commercial property, and this little pocket over here becomes a commercial business complex. And so these little pockets of businesses start popping up. Then what happens is you start to get this hub. So you just had a Main Street, but now you have a hub of businesses around this one area. And that whole hub is what some people in the planning and zoning area call CBD, Commercial Business District. That basically means that, yes, I know that there's residential homes in there, and that's fine because that's what they were literally built as, was a residence. And I get that there's some people living there. However, they are residing inside of this big radius of just tons of businesses, right? And so this whole radius is called the CBD, Commercial Business District, where there's lots of these homes in here. Now, here's what's great about this, guys. Sometimes the homes are a little bit older, but those homes can be zoned commercial as well. So if you're living in it, it's called a residential property. Even if it's in the CBD, you can still live there. But if you wanted to rent it or buy it, because it's in the CBD, you could actually immediately, like that, turn it into a business. Isn't that so cool? So you don't, like, sometimes if you're out in a rural area and you had literally just your home, and you're like, wait, I want to turn this into a business, like complete, like I'm going to move out of it and I'm going to turn it into a business. They would say, wait a second, your land is zoned residential. We are going to, in order to change it to a commercial property for you to just operate a business out of and not live in it, then we have to go through a zoning process, right? And that takes lots of money and lots of time and lots of discussion from the council members and whatever. So what's super cool is if you're trying to find a place outside of your home, I would look for the CBD area of your city. Just basically go straight to Main Street and then start branching out a little bit, okay? Because you're gonna start noticing, wait, those are homes that people are living in. And I wonder if I go to the planning and zoning office and say, where is the CBD? You're gonna find a ton of little pockets, little homes inside that just like that, if you rent or buy them, you can turn them into a preschool without living in there. So hopefully that's helped you to be able to find out if you wanted to do a preschool outside of your home, but still in a home you don't live in. That's one option. Another option is actually to buddy up with a friend or a family member. So I've had lots of different options, women who've done that. One of our gals, she actually was she wanted to start a preschool, but for some reason her HOA wouldn't let her in her area. By the way, this is like the one person I can ever think of that the HOA didn't allow it. Almost every single HOA will allow it. But for some reason hers didn't. It was super strict or something. And so in that situation, she's like, man, she could have just given up, but she didn't. She knew that she had a mom who would love to have a preschool in her home. She doesn't, it's not a big deal. Her mom's not having a huge house full of kids anymore. And so what they did was they buddied up where she taught preschool in her mom's home. Now, do you want to know the best part about this, guys? Her mom was actually an elementary school teacher. And when she realized how much money her daughter was making teaching preschool and having this preschool, she's like, dang, I would love to do that. So she started teaching preschool as well in this home, in her home, and was able to completely quit her job as a school teacher, the mother, right? And then what happened was, the daughter, so of course someone my age, but the daughter was moving because her family was gonna move somewhere else. So she moved, she started a preschool somewhere else, and guess what? The mom kept the preschool in the home. So how cool is that? Like 2 preschools, 2 locations, 2 owners, a mother and a daughter. I just thought that is so cool. Now, another way you can do it is you can buddy up with a friend, right? I have another person who's doing a preschool with her friend right now. And she knew that her home wasn't ideal, but her friends was fine, right? So they buddied up and they share their talents and their resources, and they're able to do preschool in the other person's home. So many ways for you to figure this out. Don't ever say, well, just because I can't do it in my home, this isn't gonna work for me. I'll show you exactly how it can work for you. Post in the comments below, if you couldn't do it in your home, which of these options do you like the best? Do you want to go find a place to rent or buy in the CBD, right? A home that you can turn. And that's what we did, guys. We actually had found a place in this area that we now call the Big Red Schoolhouse, okay? We never call it a center because to me, the center just sounds really cold, but we call it our schoolhouse, which is just a nice, warm, cozy feel. Post in the comments, I'd love to find out what area you would choose if you were gonna do it outside of your home that you live in. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and share these videos with all of your friends so that we can share this message that women can start preschools anywhere in the world.